Morning, morning, everyone. So this is the first Brain Pick and Chill of this year. So for those of you that don't know, what this is actually, so let's see. One second, let me just get rid of my headphones and make sure it's not coming out of there. Okay. So let's try that again. So welcome everyone to the first Brain Pick and Chill of this year. For those of you that don't know what this is essentially, I'm also going to turn off Bluetooth, that's fine. So welcome to the first Brain Pick and Chill of this year. For those of you who don't know what this is essentially the way that it's an hour open where I'm going to be working, but if people want to ask questions, they can. And I'm just going to run through what happened in the newsletter this week, give you those updates, and I'm available for questions for the next hour if anybody does have any. Often, a lot of the time, people don't, and that's absolutely fine. But at least you've got this hour that you know that if you did have questions, you know that I'm here and I'm able to answer them. So let's do the first one. So it's cold and dark, but we're here to brighten up your Monday morning. Last week at our kickoff meeting with our podcast headline partners, HSBC, Innovation Banking, and we're cooking up some exciting events for you. But what we'd love to understand from you is what types of events you want and what topics you're most interested in. To give you some BTS, we're going through like an interesting moment from the plucky beginners to really building out systems to make something which is going from that 0 to 1 to now like how do we get from 1 to 100. And there's a couple ways we're streamlining. The first is a single hub of everything you need to contact us. So there's a lot of different things we do, right? So you've got the podcast, you've got the Baywatch, you've got investment, all of those kind of different things. We've now got a page which is just simply thebayhq.com/contact, where you can reach out to us with any questions you might have. And it also categorizes things better, right? Because there's me and Gervais, other members of the team too, and you want to get through to the right person. Whereas if you're in my LinkedIn DMs or Instagram DMs, it's much more likely to get lost. And it's also harder for us to prioritize, right? Because if somebody says, I'd love to get a coffee with you, I don't know what that's about. And if lots of people want to get coffees, I need to work out how to best use my time for the missions that I have, but also not treat my time as something that doesn't have value, right? Because time I spend on random coffees is time I'm not spending on other things that I enjoy. And maybe I don't get to the gym enough, all those kind of things, right? So you've got to think about it in that context. And then another thing we're doing is a small set of videos, which is on our page. If you go to our YouTube page, there's going to be a welcome sequence now, which has like, welcome to Bay HQ, how we got started, how we can help you, how you can help us, and then also my origin story. So the website's got massive upgrades over the past month or two. So you should be able to see a lot more content there now. There's a lot more we're going to do on that as well. So for a bit of background, so I'm essentially doing a lot of technical stuff as well, because that's my background beforehand. So I've been focused a lot on that in the last month. But once that stuff is pretty much sorted, I'm going to really be focusing heavily on the content. And that's been making original videos, answering your questions. I know a lot of people, for example, want to start a podcast. That's constantly in my DMs. I'll start making content around those different things. What Series A is, how to raise your first round, all of those common questions that we get. And we also have a winning design for our football kit for 2024. So if you want to check that out, just go to the newsletter. It's in the latest one. You can view it there. And if you want a copy of it or you want to buy one, let us know too. So the football side of things, right? What's good about it is it's a way to get people involved in a way that's no pressure. So if we're playing against other companies, I know there is some pressure involved there because we want to win. But it's not that serious, right? Like it's for fun. It's just a way to get people out who maybe don't like going for drinks or don't like going for other events we have, but wouldn't be involved in football. And we've been doing other sports as well throughout the year. It's just football is often the easiest one to start with before we expand. And we want to do different activity-based events. All of that kind of stuff too is coming out. So I'll run through this week's what's happened as well. So on the podcast, on the Bay podcast, we had Anya Roy, who's the CEO and co-founder of Serona Health. And what's incredible about her journey is that she went from at her first job, them telling her you'll never succeed, like you don't have the attitude, you don't have what it takes. Then she then had a successful career in banking, retrained in sciences. Then her project idea for her master's to start a company, she said it was a failure, but she got 70 out of 100, Asian fail. But compared to her peers, all of her peers had better marks. The teachers and the professors said that they've got better ideas, right? But she's now saved lives through her detection tools. And she's raised 2 million. She's going to raise further money as well. And she's going to continue growing that. So for somebody who's kind of had that feedback and people telling her that she's going to fail, to then be able to go and create what she has is amazing and impacts so many people in that way as well. On the Lab podcast, we had Soumya Singh, who's the Deputy Director of People at Smart Energy GB. And she talks all about how to retain your best talent. And that's something I talk to so many founders, right? I think that's one of the hardest things for any founder is talking to their staff, how to understand them, because a lot of us know that when we had jobs, it was quite difficult to relate to our managers and to our CEOs and things like that. And what sometimes people don't understand is quite hard on the other side too, of like you're trying to be a good boss and you're trying to plan everything so the business succeeds, but you also want to be a good person and you want to make sure that you're treating people correctly. That's quite a difficult balance. And she talks you through that. Then if we look further, so we've got on Baywatch, we have Anfax this week, which is run by Soab. So if we give a few stats about Anfax, they process millions of data points for every insight report they do. The insights used by hundreds of brands so far, including Unilever, Havas, and Beko. They've had 60% quarter-on-quarter user growth. They've raised pre-seed with VCs, including SFC Capital. So what they're basically trying to do here is give you real-time data so that you can make better decisions quicker, as opposed to relying on reports which come up like once a year or something like that, right? So you've got better consumer insight, so you can make better decisions and then grow faster. So make sure to check out that full feature on the website. Events this week. So we've got the Blown Away with the Blues January Challenge on Monday. We've got the BitBio times KCL Sync Biotech event tonight. There's Startup Essentials, Understanding Community Interest Companies, KICS, on Tuesday, which is online. Does your startup need a board? That's another online event. Elevate Your Pitch, craft unforgettable voice for your company. London L&D Meetup, the Elevating the Game in 2024, secrets to scaling your e-commerce business on Thursday. That's an in-person event as well. GenAI companies building in London on Thursday, and London Buildstop. So for all of these events, make sure you go to the website. You'll see all these events listed. If any of this sounded interested, make sure you get yourself out there. Because that's one of the most difficult things for many people from my communities. If you don't know people, how are you supposed to get some stuff done? If you keep going to events, you're going to build these bonds over time. Then on the job side, so here's jobs from people who are in our network where we know the founders. So Block Dojo are looking for a head of design. UHubs are looking for a sales development representative. Nala are looking for a money laundering reporting officer. Hive are looking for a few people, a back-end engineer, a junior back-end engineer, a senior front-end engineer, and a payroll administrator. AutoGenAI are looking for a lead developer, a senior developer, a senior sales lead, a user coach bid writing professional. Then Fable and Main are looking for a commercial director. Click are looking for an operations director. MindUp are looking for an account manager. Yonder are looking for a senior support manager. Fable and Main are looking for a business analyst. JBM are looking for a chief of staff health tech, an interim operation director. Then Tuck are looking for a sales manager. And Yhangry are looking for a product design, user research, and UX person. The shout outs this week on the podcast were Neha Issa Khan, Neha Issa Brown. Neha Issa Brown wears multiple hats. She's a senior executive, a non-executive director, and a trustee. She's respected for carving a place based on her ability, can-do attitude, and talent. She has ascended the career ladder in science and research. So that's from Soumya Singh. Soumya Singh also shouted out Rubina Singh, who's carved out a brilliant place herself in the climate tech deep space. With Octopus Ventures, she's gone from strength to strength. And then she also shouted out Sunil Chef. Sunil's a lawyer by profession, and he feels strongly about anti-slavery. He chairs Anti-Slavery International, serving as a mentor and someone who Seymour greatly admires and respects for his achievements and commitments to human rights. Then we have Anya Roy, who shouted out Surbhi Sana, who's the founder of Envision. She's a partner at YC, an investor in Serena Health. She sold her company for $275 million. Priya Oberoi, who's been on the podcast before. She's a partner at Goddess Gaia Ventures. Priya is an investor at Serena Health. She's on speed dial for Anya and was relied heavily upon her during the building of the company. Then Siddhi Mittal, who's also part of the YC quality for Anya. She's got tremendous energy and she's building something amazing. So that's all the updates from that side. So what I'm going to do now is close this off, and I'm going to be sitting here for the next hour. If anybody has any questions, feel free to shoot them across. Otherwise, I'm just going to be sitting here and working. And I'll be playing some music in the background too. So that's it. Morning, Uma. That beat just made me jump a bit. Hope you're doing well. So when are we planning our next school visit? So what we're doing at the moment is working with some of the local councils. So what we plan to do is in some of the high priority areas, so say Ilford, Southall, and places like that, we're initially going to do those just me and Gervin. So we're going to start off me and Gervin going there, iterating a presentation, iterating what kind of questions people ask, what don't people understand, so that when we get other people to get involved and to do those talks too, then we've got a good idea, because we want to set people up for success, right? So what we want to do is say if you're going to give school talks later in the year, we can say based on the 10 talks we've done already, we know that people are really interested in this particular thing we talk about. So make sure we talk about this, and it's also looking at what are the stuff that people don't understand. Because sometimes within our bubble, we can make assumptions that people understand certain words that they don't. So what we're going to do is do a bit of research on that first for me and Gerd here, where we do this presentation probably over the next 2 or 3 months. And off the back of that, we've got a good data set of okay, here are the key problems, here are the things that the kids are asking about as well, because we want to make sure that the kids are engaged, because they, for example, one story might not really resonate with them, but another one might. So what we're going to do is learn about that and then build that up over time. So definitely we would love to get people involved in that, and we've got your name on the list for when that happens. And what we're going to probably do as well is look at which areas people live in and things like that as well, so that we can match people up with their local schools. But at the beginning, it would be me and Gerda just going around doing these talks to just gain that information, right? Of what's the best way to do this, what makes the kids really happy, what inspires them, and get that feedback, rather than sending out people like yourself who are very busy, got so many other things to do, with something of which you don't feel fully supported on. So that's the kind of aim at the moment. What we've got planned is at least 20 school talks and university talks this year. I think that throughout the year we can increase that quite significantly, but that's kind of our minimum level of what we want to do. I think of all our targets, a lot of times the minimum rather than the exact number. But that's really exciting, because I'm looking forward to that, where we can really empower people, where we do all the logistics. So our team will do the logistics, find the schools, do the communication, have that kind of set template and set way of engagement where the schools trust us, and then be able to say, okay, we've got a school talk at this school, who within our community would like to help out and like to come along to it? Because it could be a case as well that a few people want to come along, right? And the more the merrier, when then the kids get to ask questions to multiple people too. So hopefully that helps you there. Yeah, to me, the school stuff, honestly, the most exciting stuff for me, in terms of the impact we can make through that. And the idea is, if we give these school talks and we get everybody involved in this, what's the impact of that in 10 years time, 20 years time? And that's where I think it's harder to measure in the short term. But let's say there's kids now who are going to school in Ilford or Southall or there's other places where often people aren't really given that belief in themselves from their school sometimes. And we can show them, look, here's a bunch of people who look like you, who've done incredible things. And the other thing we're going to be trying to do as well is set those kids up with internships and mentorships and things like that too. So that it's not just, here's the amazing people, here's what you can do. It's also, now we're going to help you to get there over time as well. And building that long-term relationship, to me, that's a real impact, and that's a real way that we can make a difference through the Venga HQ. So when you're watching this, basically I use my phone to record, which hides the comments. So that's why if you see me going like this, that's what I'm doing. I'm looking around my phone to see comments. I woke up far too early today. I think this is probably funny on people watching this video where you can just see me constantly yawning. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so I'm calling it a day there. Have a great week, everyone.